Alright, let's see. Everything should be good. Gonna mute my audio. We're gonna be solo shoutcasting this puppy. They forgot spectator slots for this one, so I'm gonna literally spawn in and kill myself, and hopefully that'll achieve the same effect. And if it doesn't, well, we'll just see what happens. But I gotta take a deep breath one second. You know when you're drinking water and then it goes down the wrong hole, and then you end up choking on nothing but a sip? It's kind of silly. But anyway, let's see. We have a briefing channel here. We actually get to see a unique perspective. All of the gear that I am going to allegedly have, even though I'm going to kill myself first thing. But this is the potential enemy operation area. So, reading into the tasks here, let's get right into it. This is another OFCRA operation. Last week we debuted one where, I finally came to shoutcast. NASA was co-commentating with me, but this one he is going to be on the ground with his guys watching. Playing with them, I believe, on the UK side. So this is a UK versus Taliban objective. There is a key crossroad that needs to be held by either side, and whoever controls it will be able to control the neutral objective. Now, UK forces have two additional objectives. One is to eliminate basically OFCRA ground command, also known as the quote-unquote warlord, as well as near squad wipe, or I guess platoon wipe the entire enemy force, get them to 5 remaining units or below. Now, Taliban side, aka OFCRA, they have two unique objectives as well, which are in the opposite of the UK forces side: keep the warlord alive and get the UK forces knocked down to 5 units or below. So, we see some special rules in here. First off, warlord has to stay inside the cave, which they're thinking is right there in that one purple zone. Blue 4 must put warlord corpse in a body bag and move it out of the cave. And if the warlord is still inside the cave, dead or alive, red 4 earns the point. So basically, they have to, UK has to actually move the body physically out, get that out of the cave, load it up into a Vic, and probably brought back to base. Otherwise, they will not get the points because they have to, PID the body at the end of that. So, with I'm gonna actually look at the brief real quick. Look at the squad roster. It looks like riflemen are not given body bags by default, so it's gonna be up to the medics to probably get that body bag here. But you have the 3 objectives here for Blue 4. I took a Blue 4 slot to come in because there was no spectator slot, so I'm just going to kill myself during safe start. And we'll get right into the spectator stuff. But we're already seeing a little bit of Blue 4's plan here, which is a nice, unique perspective. Possibly some wide flanks that are going to be done in this AO. This AO recently was in a Friday night fight holding this entire sector, so we know that this is a massive valleyway here. And it looks like they're marking right here where the different groups of this team are going to come in, because it's about 3 squads versus 3 squads with command elements, so about 60 players on each side. You can actually see that right here. If not 60, a little below. But I am very curious to see how this one goes. I know last week's operation was filled with a lot of crazy tactics utilized, as well as some very down-to-the-wire moments that let OPFOR win that one match. So I'll be curious to see what happens here, how Blue 4 tries to assault the Warlord, and how OPFOR defends both the Warlord and the Crossroads, since from the looks of this, OPFOR is going to spawn a lot closer to the position than Blue 4, so it's a classic attack defense, but with a little bit of a twist. So, chat, how are you doing? I won't have us make predictions just yet, but I know based off of this terrain, up here is a massive kill zone, up here is a massive kill zone. They got a little bit of cover though, but with the OPFOR guys having control of these taller mountains, they should be able to see any push coming that isn't down this little forested area to conceal it. So we'll see how things go. Otherwise, guys, for those of you that are in the lawn hall with me today, this is the first stream of 4 I have planned. This is going to be the PvP operation that we get to spectate. Then we're going to do 2 Zeus ops back to back, one for TSB. It's going to be the second phase of that cop building thing we did last week, simply because I could stretch it to another AO because of the sheer size of area that was left behind. And oh god, does it still say Phasmophobia? For me, it says Arma 3, so if it says Phasma, just refresh your page, and I'm sorry if it pinged you for that. Again, Twitch has been having some weird issues with that. But we got Cop Builders Phase 2 for TSB. That's going to be about 5:30 to 7:30. And then from 8 to 9:30, we're going to hopefully do the first stop of that new group I was talking about last week that we decided to push off for because there was a massive breakdown in communication. But that's going to be a small-scale classic, where we're going to basically take Chernogorsk and assault the main airport. It's US versus Napa. Multi-life, but if they screw up, it's probably going to cascade down on them, but it is an interesting AO I've pre-built for them. And then we have the TM operation at 10 p.m. EST, which I will be on the ground for to relax, have fun, and hopefully get on a static and go doot. So we'll see how everything goes here. But we're in the planning phase. Looks like another 30 seconds are going here. Kilroy was here. What a nice meme. Back from World War II. And I don't even want to know what the rest of that means. Any other memes hidden around? Nope. All right, there's the operation. And looks like my 2 teammates dropped dead. So I'm going to go ahead and respawn as well. And boom, we are now a spectator. All right. So easy peasy lemon squeezy with that. Let's see. Alt is... Hold on, they've... This is a little different than the spectator I usually know. This isn't usually the case, so hold up. Yeah, so they basically added some more speed for the camera. That is, that's pretty nice. But one thing I'm also noticing, there we go. So now we have their markers. So this will take me a little bit to get used to here. So yeah, we got it. It's kind of cool. Hold up, we're back in the server. I don't know what just happened there. So I don't know why they just restarted the server there. I'm not I don't have anyone with me to clarify. I can go ask NASA real quick. Probably just a bug to quickly fix. Maybe something to do with the fact that I had a different spectator thing than usual, but I mean, yeah, I'll just respawn, kill myself again, and we'll get started. But yeah, definitely different spectator controls than what I'm used to, but we can still make that work, obviously. So again, what we saw, UK guys are going to start along this airbase. I didn't get a chance to see where OFCRA guys were, but I'm again assuming that they're going to start in a little custom cave system up in this valley complex here. I am going to be watching the time, because we are going to cut it close for TSB stuff. Hold up, there's a map change. I don't know. I think they're going to debug something. Not gonna lie, the past few days, actually, there's been a lot of mission debugging. I know with last week's operation, or excuse me, not last week's, yesterday's operation with the 506, there was a bunch of debugging with that. I would assume probably the Arma 2.0 update, along with the RHS update, has been probably causing some issues for multiple communities. I know I had to fix a few things for the mission file for TSB tonight because of a few RHS changes, but that should be all taken care of. I've already tested on the server. It should be A-okay. I mean, 2.0 just has a lot of you know, little small things and a lot of scripting fixes, but looks like they've got it all fixed up and everyone's just going to reslot and go ahead. But yeah, we're going to be at about 56 players today, and we'll see how that goes. Also, I don't know why you got a 20-minute political ad coming here. Personally, I don't really endorse either candidate. I don't try to put politics in this channel because politics is just a messy business. I will use the politics for meme ops, though. That's always a gold mine. But if you ever get like a 20-minute ad for the channel, just refresh the page. It'll give you a new one that's not dumb. And I don't really know what else to say about the 20 seconds, not 20 minutes. Okay. Okay, you scared me by saying 20 minutes. I'm like, why is Twitch putting 20-minute ads on my channel? God, that's a lot. That's like literally the entire length of a SpongeBob episode without ads. 20 minutes of brain damage. Yeah, right? Ay. I gotta start re-adding Sergeant Fluffers into my mission files, man. That would be fun. But here, this time, I'm actually going to go into Op Force. Okay, no, they got guys in the bottom thing, and these guys have been joining up on me, so we'll see how things go with that. But we'll see how things go with all that. Do I get anything out of those ads? I get a few pennies. Like, every time someone watches an ad on Twitch, I get like 1/10 of a penny. So I guess that's okay. Twitch is, honestly, Twitch is actually more predatory than YouTube. YouTube takes, like... No, YouTube also takes about no, a little under. They take, like, 42% of your ad revenue. Twitch takes 50. Twitch takes 50% of everything. If not, slightly above 51%. So, like I said, if you ever want to support anyone directly, any content creator, second best way is to do Patreon, but Patreon still takes a chunk. The best way you can support someone is to just directly donate to them. Because then all Twitch takes, all PayPal takes is a very low percentage. Unless you give them $1, then PayPal will take like 40% of that dollar. But if it's over $1, then they will take only about 4 to 5%, if not less. The bigger the donation, the less they take away. Again, it's a really... Everyone mooches off of the content creators, man, but they rely on those content creators to exist so they can make money off the platform. It's funny. Oh god, I'm not sexy enough to rock an OnlyFans. All right, I only have a pretty interesting dad bod. That's it. But I'm not open enough for that level of stuff. Anyway, there we go. I am now dead. This is yelling at me to go back to your position. I hope that doesn't mean anything, but now let's go ahead, look at the spectator camera here. I'll put tracers on. Hopefully it won't kick me out again, but this is what we have for the Blue Force side. Let's go... Actually, no. Let's keep looking at these guys for a second. We've got 5 coyotes here. Actually, no. They're either jackals. They're not coyotes. They're jackals or something else. I forget the exact name of these vehicles. I'm not well versed in the British rigs here, but we got, you know, forward 7.62 machine gun.
Half a year. And gimme dad bod on OnlyFans.
Oh, no, we're not doing OnlyFans. I'm not slim enough to be a trap either, so we can't get away with that, unfortunately. But thank you for the 6-month resub, Freelancer. I hope you keep enjoying the operations, and I hope you get a kick out of this one. Can a T1 join Fight Night? If you're a TSB, okay, let me actually go through the numbers here. So for this, anyone can join this. I will find a way to start advertising how to get on these events later, but I got to get NASA's permission, who's my correspondent to OFCRA, just to clarify. But from what I know, anyone can join the OFCRA PvP events. For TSB today, that op is also open to anyone that shows up, as long as you've gone through the little introduction, which takes 5 minutes, and you have the mod set, which will be TSB main. For the third op I'm doing tonight, that is a closed community event, because I don't know how that group advertises, but I'm sure we'll get into that later. And then for TM is, I'm not Zeusing that one. That one is someone else Zeusing, but that one's very... they're very selective about the people they bring in. It took me like 3.5 to 4 weeks to go through the entire quote-unquote recruitment process. So, yeah. There you go. That's how everything is. But anyway, looking at these puppies, I'm gonna say they're jackals. I'm probably... Actually, here, I'm dumb. Watch this. If we do the mission command, it leads us to a website, and that website will actually tell us what vehicle each side has. Because, you know, I'm smart. So let's see, if we just scroll around here to find that information. They are coyotes, so I was right. Cool. All right, and then NASA just sent me something. Um... So we might actually have NASA and someone else come and shoutcast with us. I will get with that in just a moment. Wow, okay, I tabbed in and tabbed out. Now the camera's normal here, so I guess I'll tabbing fix that back to what I am used to. But either way, let's hit F1 right there. Yeah, so Alt, that's okay, so it held that key. That's fine. So, the Coyotes here, we've got, again, forward-facing, I believe that's 7.62. Yep, 7.62. And then we've got a 50 cal with an, interesting, frickin' an ACOG on it. So, these things can actually have a little bit of range, and when I'm looking at these, British forces, it's general 3CB gear with some AT4s, in desert camo, and it looks like the squad leaders are getting the Ace ACOG scopes as well, and then a few coyotes here. ACOG 50Y, I mean, I guess it's just to give it a little bit of zoom in for the gun itself, but that's actually going to be really useful in dealing with the open terrain of the environment as well. So anyway, Op4 has spawned back here. And we have this zone right here. This is the cave itself. Interesting note on that, but let's get into position here. What do the Insurgents have here? We're looking at AKMs. So 7.62 based weaponry, deadlier rifle caliber. I don't think these guys re-script the calibers, so when they mean to give them guns like this, they actually mean it. We also got PKMs with 7.62 by 54. 54, so again, bigger calibers going there as well. We got some GP25s. I think I also saw that for the UK guys. They also had some underslung grenade launchers, but it's basically going to be a 5.56v7.62 based faction. We got some armed dishkas here, only iron sights though, and then we're seeing some AT go off and some other crazy stuff. So, mission has started. Let's go ahead and look back at the cave system here. Kind of an intimidating one. You got to be careful how you build these up because utilizing too many rock textures like that can lag the server. But with this many people here, it should be fine. So this is probably where they intend to hide the warlord here, but definitely a nice buildup of sandbags here. But I like how there's a little bit of overlap, so the entrances can kind of, at least this back one, can kind of expose the cover back here. So they have to really do a good job of holding a two-pronged attack. But the warlord, I mean, he'll be safest either in here, but this will become a grenade trap really easily. In there, maybe hiding partially in the bush right there, but I don't think there's enough to hide. At that point specifically. So an interesting cave structure right there. The warlord is going to be flip for flap, and he's got to basically stay in the, go and stay in the cave for the entire operation. So I'll be curious to see what his defense team looks like. But either way, Op4 are pushing out, and Blue 4 are starting with a massive convoy going to the south here. So we might see some initial contact on the southern group as two of these UAZs, both of them having dishkas, move out. One of them does not have its gunner on, instead has a guy in shotgun. And the other one has the lead Vic in the 50. I don't know why that second Vic doesn't have the shotgun guy in the main gunner seat, because that would be a lot better to do. But it also looks like the actual Crossroad here has a bunch of British vehicles. Interesting. I'm not sure if these are enterable, because if they were, I mean, definitely getting on the, you know, the statics of those would be devastating for the Taliban forces to get on. But I think these are all just props with their simulations disabled. Otherwise, I believe the Taliban would be a lot more defensive on this spot. But control of the Crossroad, this entire sector is a quote-unquote zone. To take the zone away from the enemy team, you have to have 2 more than the defending group there. So let's say the Taliban guys, they put 5 in here. For Blue 4 to capture this zone with those 5 Op 4 guys in the zone, they'd have to bring 7 guys. So naturally, if you start shooting at each other, whichever side that wins the fight and has the more dudes at the end of the day is going to be able to cap that zone. So now we have Flip and Remy, Remy, not to be confused with the Remy most of you probably know. They are going back to the cave right there. We've got some Op 4 guys. They're actually taking a bit of an interesting defensive play here. They're being a lot more aggressive with their defenses. Instead of setting up at the cave directly, they're pushing their defensive lines all around. This is also going to allow for a lot of their forces to be put in reserve, but Blue 4 is going to take this incredibly cautiously as we see them making this massive, honestly, encirclement for lack of a better term, because they don't know how Op 4 is going to deploy their forces. So Op 4 keeping a lot of these guys in reserve up on the high hills is going to help them see Blue 4's advances earlier on and potentially then stage large flanking maneuvers to try to get on top of Blue 4's positions here. So we'll have to see how things go there. Either way, both sides, Blue 4 is going to take this cautiously because it's really hard to recon that position. Also doing a lot to get their forces into position as well. Let me hit page up here, see what my maximum render distance is. There we go. So that is what we have to work with right there. So far, no sides really seen each other, but I'd be willing to bet these Op 4 guys might get picked out here momentarily because Blue 4 is dismounted on that big hill, and that vehicle is going to help them stand out like a sore thumb. But these Op 4 guys might also spot the Blue 4 guys moving up at where we had that Friday night fight objective the other day. Now, I'm going to be curious to see if this guy spots what's up there. It's hard to tell because those guys are just below the defilade line right there, but if he's able to spot that and tell his guys and get that radioed, we could potentially start seeing the Op 4 outflank action a little early on. But Blue 4 has deployed over here. Their vehicle is also in plain view of that guy. We got, looks like the command group for the UK faction also coming around. I don't think they have spotted that position down there. Definitely have this guy looking around with his rangefinder here. But so far, I don't think either side spotted each other, but this might be where you see the first point of contact. Actually, Op 4, they are driving away from this position. Not sure if because they might have spotted that group or they are just trying to reposition. You can see the top of the Vic right there, actually. It is kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. But I think Op 4 have these guys over here to actually watch this ingress vector instead. And this car is continuing to drive out. Interesting. Meanwhile, the third Dishka car, it's put itself over here. We got, one guy with an LR who's definitely going to try to get up here and do some scouting work. We'll try to watch over this entire vector. This being probably the one of the 2 tallest points on the map. The tallest point would be back there, but, second tallest over there. Actually, we got another one over there. So there's a lot of places that the Op 4 forces can go to maintain a height advantage to try to watch for any enemy forces that are going to come by. Are they first-person locked? Yes, both in vehicles and as infantry, they are first-person locked. And yeah, that northern group is doing a little bit of a skyline, but I don't think anyone on Op 4 sighted them just yet. Yeah, so it's getting me a little bit to play with this spectator camera, because it's a little different than the other one I'm used to. Okay, this car had to have spotted that other car moving around over there. I think they're going to pick up these guys and potentially reposition, but yeah, that car is definitely, it's either lost or it's trying to bait Op 4's fire here to try to give them away. But Blue 4 has done a really good job of deploying its units, and I guess they're just waiting for this group to conduct a recon to try to maneuver itself. Otherwise, this Op 4 group has pulled back. I don't know where it is deploying here, but I think it's just going to stick over here because it's got slightly better cover with the little fortification line here. But it also might be holding in reserve to potentially move. But the problem with that is I'm willing to bet these blue 4 guys have spotted that thing by now. This guy has. He's looking right at him. There he is in the binos. He sees them right there. I wonder if they could get that coyote to come up and put some 50 cal shots in that position. But even then, that would be a very far shot. There it is. It's exactly what I was thinking, and immediately it goes on. You got to remember, those 50s have an ACOG, so they do have a little bit of a scope enhancement. OFCRA doesn't look like... Nope, I think they just realized they're being engaged, and they're trying to get into fortifications here. From the looks of it, I would say those rounds are going short. I don't think the tracers are working. Yeah, so I don't have any tracer effects in the spectator mode. That's a little bit of a shame, but we can still infer where those shots are going. Also, you see me dead in the squad. Because they didn't have any spectator slots, so I had to just get myself killed. Just by a simple respawn button. So these 2 guys are going to stick in the bunker. They're still being fired at. I don't think they have any idea where they're being engaged from. Maybe this guy just spotted them. He's trying to stay low, but he's looking a little bit below that position. As his teammate looks a little more to the right, but he should be able to see that skyline. I'm not sure if... Actually, it's really tough to see, but you can see it. That little dot right there is the vehicle going over. No, actually, it's not. But it's right next to it. That's actually a trench that's formed. So... Even so, I mean, if that trench dug is on the skyline, that's going to bring your attention to that position. But either way, Blue 4 engaging first, an OFCRA position. OFCRA's kind of thrown its guys around. But now I'm curious to see where OFCRA throws its forces here to try to counter that one position. OFCRA doesn't actually have that many guys, and that is Blue 4. I mean, it's about a 55 to 60 person operation. Wow, no, OFCRA has a shit ton of dudes in reserve all the way back here. Why? I think the only explanation I can think of is OFCRA was expecting Blue 4 to do a massive flanking maneuver, but I don't... That's a very big risk. That's a very big risk for the OFCRA commander to take, especially he's got 2 of his UAZs with the Dishka. He's only got 3 of those, if I remember correctly. Might actually have 4. I'm gonna check up in this hill again. Yeah, so there's the 4th one, but he's committing a lot of his guys to a southern attack that he has no intel on coming other than a hunch. Because he's playing against a guy named Bluck, so I think he based that off of playing against Bluck beforehand, but that is way too many forces in reserve, in my opinion, and they're completely out of position. So they're holding down this MSR, but I get it, because we saw last week there were some wide flanks that were done on both sides, but here... OFCRA instead needed to focus a few more guys on recon, because what they could have done was rushed a Vic up to this mountaintop over here, and they would have been able to see any Blue 4 forces that would have come around to do said wide flanks. So this is a big waste of manpower here, and as Blue 4 is now moving into the AO, I don't think OFCRA is going to be able to really stop them, because the commander can't leave this position flip for flap. And if he gets eliminated and dragged out while all of his forces are completely out of position, Blue 4 could easily steamroll this. So to clarify, I get OFCRA's reasoning, but at the same time, they didn't back it up with the required recon. And it's just a waste, you know? Like, maybe have those forces up here ready to be provided into QRF and have, like, one guy down here to watch this road. That way you'll know. but, just even so, that's a very big waste of manpower to spend on that level of maneuver. And that's assuming they come up this MSR. I mean, with Takistan, there's so many roaming hills and shit that you can actually cut through them and pick some really unorthodox routes to, you know, set your guys up accordingly. Literally, you can weave through these valleys until you get to where you want. But the way to counter that is to have high elevated recon to see them coming, because the vehicles are going to kick up a lot of smoke. But Blue 4 has a more simple plan, and Op 4 overplanned their defenses, and that's going to cause a lot of units to be out of position. Unless Op 4 can rally their force accordingly, it's not going to go too well. So we have a 50 cal back here firing, and it looks like it's firing up at the hill that these Op 4 guys might be on. I mean, it is in sight lines here. None of those shots are being accurate, though. You can only faintly hear those shots coming on, but yeah, they can definitely have eyes on that. I'm wondering if this guy has those sight lines with his binoculars on this Blue 4 vehicle assaulting his position. Now, the issue, or I guess the fallacy, or even better yet, the catch-22 of having the 50 cals with scopes is that these guys might be a little overconfident in what they can hit, because none of those rounds hit this position. He's firing another burst, but if we were to follow him, he is firing right on this group here. And I cannot hear those round impacts. Yeah, they're landing down here. Way short. But it's hard to gauge that distance. So he needs to aim about, I want to say a mil dot higher, but, you know, just the weird elevation of this firing angle has made it so his bullets are actually really tough to kind of walk on that position. I thought I just heard a little bit of medical dump, but then again, if it was a 50 cal shot, I think I'd see a little more blood from that. But you see Op 4 guys are getting their binos out looking in this direction, so they probably see that large force coming in. And you also have Blue 4 starting to deploy on this one position here. So there's actually NASA down there. He is, again, playing on the ground today with his boys. And they're going to be able to get on this position and capture it. So I'll be curious to see how Op 4 kind of pulls their units back after they realize that Blue 4 is doing a pretty simple plan today. But if Blue 4 can... Okay. So if Blue 4 could figure out that Op 4 has their units this badly stagnated, they could easily go on the offensive and start cutting units off. But they're not going to think that, because they're going to think that Op 4 has units in the reserve ready to send to cut them off if they go too aggressive. So this is a good example of the overall fog of war that we have to deal with in these style of operations. If Blue 4 knew that Op 4 was this staged out, I mean, there would easily be a push to the cave system to eliminate the warlord, then a hold in Nagara to hold that position, the Crossroad. Because Op 4 just has so many units way out of position because they basically overcomplicated their plan and sent way too many units along routes that they honestly didn't need to. Those cars could have been kept in reserve closer to the front line over here. That way, if a single scout saw something coming, he'd be able to send it. But you also have the issues of, you know, who has the LRs, who has the range to send, because short-range radios are only good up to a click. So with all of this done, I mean, there's also a lack of Dishka vehicles to be put around, because 3 are committed to the rear over here. If a Dishka were to go up this hill and start firing at Blue 4 as they took the objective, I mean, they could potentially score a kill there. But instead, Blue 4 basically is going to have control of this zone now. And Op 4 doesn't really have the forces to counter. Now, what Blue 4 is doing is they've got the central group taking the zone, and they're going to have this group kind of flank around. We also notice Flip is kind of out of this AO a little bit. But as long as he's in the actual, like, cave complex, he should be good. He's in a trench complex just outside of it, helping to pull recon. But generally don't want to be on that angle outside, because someone could just come up and get his marksman rifle out and blow his head off, and that would be the objective. But they still have to pull the body out itself. But either way, I believe this force is going to come around and try to hit that position. And then this force is also going to do a wide flank, but it looks like at least 2 of the Dishka cars are readjusting here. Possibly this Dishka car is readjusting to fire at that Blue 4 group coming in. His gun is aimed down. Oh yeah, no, he's gonna try to engage that group over there. So these are the tactics OFCRA was hoping they'd be able to utilize, but at the same time, so many guys in reserve back here, it's not going to play too well. But then again, with Blue 4's strategy of doing a southern pincer maneuver over here, these guys could mount up and then attack that pincer and, you know, try to beat them to the cave itself. Now, we're seeing a little bit of combat in the town as this Blue 4 group is trying to engage the OFCRA guys that were spotted up in this building. They're already being suppressed by a machine gun, so they need to be careful. They do have a grenade launcher guy, but where is that machine gun? There's actually 5 of them, and the machine gunner's over here. He's going to try to reposition to get on a good firing arc. AT also going in that building, but it's all open right there. More AT going in that building. They definitely do not want those guys to stay there, but since this is one life PvP, I believe both of these guys shot their AT into that building there. But, you know, one life, if you can knock them out early, that's going to help them out. Now you have these machine gunners trying to reposition, but at the same time, it's not going to go too well. What are you firing at? I think he was firing at this vehicle coming in right here. I don't see any... Oh, they have a dead AI. That's interesting. Hope that doesn't throw out the game, because that was the warlord, but it looks like he respawned fine. Now you're having these guys engage. Another OFCRA group has dismounted here. And now you're going to see the contending of the town start to go. And we just had some fire go up over there. It's not the... they're not firing at the Dishka. I'm not sure if that was an accidental discharge. These guys are still coming around on the flank here. How's the Southern Pincer doing? Southern Pincer is dismounting on this position to try to get eyes on where they're going, at least to scout things out. They do have to worry about a recon group all the way up here, though. But their eyes are not concerning that flank. Instead, they're looking more towards the town itself. So that's pulling eyes away. It's going to be up to McLaren here to spot that group. But they're a little more in that direction, actually. So we're going to focus on the main PvP fight down here. Looks like the Vic that the OFCRA guys had to transport was hit, so they're not going to be able to use that. But otherwise, this 4-person cell trying to push up as well. I mean, really, it's anyone's game. Again, like any other PvP op, it's going to fall down to who has the better PvP, who has the better team that's going to be able to score more kills. And I mean, these guys have a slight advantage here because Blue 4 is too busy focusing on the other team, which is pinned down right here. Now, if that marks... this is a machine gunner. If he were to look a little more to the right, you might notice these guys crawling out over there. Oh, Goatland. No, he spotted OFCRA coming out on this position. Nasso knocked to his legs. Oh, that is not good. So unfortunately, OFCRA didn't notice a guy up on that high point, but Goatland certainly noticed them. Goatland we also see in Friday Night Fights, but we have a man down already. As this 2-man cell tries to move up. That's a machine gun team. But now Blue 4 just has to send a few guys in here. They're trying to conceal their position with smoke. Nasso trying to bandage his buddy, but he's not going to be able to do it. He's already dead. I will say with the new Ace Ragdoll animations, it is getting a bit harder for people to notice when their friends are dead. Because this, honestly, the way his weapons drop like this makes it look like that he is you know, in one of those downed animations. That's why you always got to look at the body. If you get an inventory pop-up where it's basically a little AK and like 3 lines under it that are slanted to the right, if you see that, he's dead. That is the one tell. So now we have a Vic pulling around with NASA NASA on the gunner, I believe. This, he's not the machine gunner, he's just a regular rifleman trying to come around. And we had some AT just get launched at the machine gunner. And Roid Campers trying to push up on them as well. I have no idea where that one Vic just went. Oh, they're driving. Nope, that's the Coyote. What the heck just happened? Blue 4 still doesn't have any KIA. These are, that was mine and AI unit. Well, we've got, Sacred here. Okay, they dismounted over here. But Sacred's pulled out. He is now trying to fire in the back. Knocks Nasso out. Big Odo doesn't realize he's being engaged. Owie might come out, and he actually knocks Band out. Nice. So, Nasso can still be woken up, but I don't think any of them are medics. In my opinion... Who was this? I have a short-term memory. Sacred should have started up with a few grenades and tried to get a little closer and use this doorway to flank him instead. Now we have Goatland who's come down. He's throwing some grenades down there. More RPGs coming out. That group being suppressed by a machine gun. No, a Coyote over there. Nubas is also trying to hone in on that position, but Kill is down. One of the guys down here just got shot as well. Yep, so they tried to come out on the back, but they're being flanked by a machine gunner. Oh, that GP25 just knocked that tree over. They might be screwed from that, because that actually just opened up another better sight line for that vehicle to fire. And nope, there goes Rat. And yeah, those guys, they tried to pull away, but vehicle pulled up on them and just watched them crawl out of that section. Kill is still staying down right there, and we have Big Odo and Big is busy bandaging himself, and Owie here is also bandaging. So Blue 4 can push that position. They're a little wary though, because they lost the guy going in. Meanwhile, Blue 4's southern flank is dismounted here, and the northern flank's also dismounted here. It looks like that car is actually pulled away because of how forces are going. Op 4 still, however, has not pulled this southern group over. We're actually seeing these guys are making a route now to come on the southern part of this valley to then come into the camp. So I wonder if that force will join them. But if this group wins the fight, they'll be at a good advantage here. So that guy just got annihilated. And Owie's trying to pull back. That was Odo. So he's trying to do a wide flank. Good call there. You always want to try to outflank your opponents because that can buy you the element of surprise. But he's being hunted by Roid and Goat. And both of them we've seen in Friday Night Fights are both pretty good PvPers when it comes to this urban style combat. The stream's so much better than going to class. I agree. I would rather stream Arma 3, any type of Arma 3, even life Arma 3, compared to going to another freaking lecture. Bowie, he's trying to listen for those footsteps, checking back and forth. Goatland looking out the doorway, but not deciding to go out there. Oh, but he gets picked off by NASA in the back. And NASA was able to knock him down. So yeah, no, Blue 4 maintaining control of this area. Still one guy over here who is doing his best to fire back at the vehicle. Not the smartest idea, in my opinion, with that rifle and the fact that the vehicle is kind of keyholing right here, but he was able to force that vehicle to at least push back for the sake of safety, because they don't know what's engaging them. You know, it could be a marksman rifle for all they know, because all of these weapons are 7.62 based. But up here, you have some Blue 4 guys firing at their own men. Ooh, so they're suppressing the smoke right here. NASA now coming in to shoot because he's also confused. So a big blue on blue instinct going on. These guys know that that's one of their friendly 50 cals, I would think, from the audio PID. But there needs to be a little bit of a ceasefire order call, because I would hate to see Blue 4 knock some of its own guys. We saw that last week. One of the Blue 4 guys shot his buddy coming up the stairs when they were attacking Op 4's objective, and that could have contributed to why Blue 4 wasn't able to destroy Op 4's objective back there, because of that one blue on blue incident. But it looks like that gun has repositioned here, and it kills the last Op4 guy in the Crossroads. So, Blue 4 now has a very healthy control of this Crossroad area, and they have to know that Op4, you know, they still have a big chunk of forces here, but, I mean, that's at least 20 to 30% of Op4 down for only one Blue 4 guy. So, one hell of a good trade. Op4 had home field advantage, but because their units were so sparred away, they lost it. But there is still hope for Op4 here because Blue 4 still has a three-pronged attack here. And they might try to, if Op4 keeps their defensive network, they could catch one of these Blue 4 groups out of position and tear it up with the still 4 Dishka Technicals that Op4 has. But I'm worried that Op4 is now going to overcommit a defensive line for the cave system itself and pull back all of its scouts. And that's exactly what they're doing. They are now not going to leave anything to scouting. And Blue 4 is going to have a perfect 3-pincer attack here, if not a defensive line on the Crossroad and a northern-southern pincer attack on the cave. But we might also see a regroup back here of Blue 4 forces to hit the town from the the cave from the rear, and then another pincer type attack from the northeast and southwest. But Op4 is consolidating here, playing right into Blue 4's plan of forcing Op4 to consolidate here so they can close this pincer. But Blue 4 still needs about 4 or 5 minutes to reposition their forces. But Op4 is going to probably use that time to just collapse all their forces as well to try to recounter that crossroad, thinking that all of Blue 4's force is making a push right there, which would be a mistake. Keeping 1 or 2 guys up here to at least do recon would be a smart choice, but instead they might just try to hold this valley instead. I think these guys are going to stay on the crossroad. If not, they're going to probably try to remount and attack the warlord position, but they have time. Both sides have time to regroup here, but it's all about who spends what with that time. It looks like Op4 is actually perceiving the pincer attack. And they still have a lot of guys set up for defenses back here. But if these 2 pincers go poorly, you're going to see units from this defensive line just come down and hit the cave from the known direction. So, really risky, but it can still play out for Op4 if they're quick. Plus, Op4 have all these forces up right here. They'll be able to see Blue 4 move in, so if they need to reposition forces, they'll be able to tell them ahead of time. The trick, though, is going to be if Blue 4 spots that one position, how, if they even try to, are they going to counter it? They're up there. But yeah, you see these guys kind of looking around. I think the real, the one little bit of unbalance I've noticed throughout this operation is the long range capability of that ACOG scope. I'm not sure if they have it disabled somehow. You're seeing Op4 opening up. I have no idea where those rounds are going because we don't have the tracer script, unfortunately. But they're pulling back now after they did a volley open up, but no new KIAs from what I've seen. I would say to make this a little more balanced, take away that ACOG so that, you know, they don't have the ability to look up in these hills. I don't know how they do it, but I just feel like that this is giving these guys a little bit more of a weapons advantage here so they can engage at longer ranges more accurately. But maybe it is taken away. But otherwise, I mean, this is a beast of a vehicle, you know, 2 machine guns can easily out-suppress a simple Dishka with a 50-round box, because I'm pretty sure both of the boxes in these Vics, 100 cartridge and 200 cartridge. So yeah, 300 rounds versus 50 rounds. I think what Op4 wanted to do instead was try to bait Blue 4 in CQB-style engagements, because what ended up happening was Blue 4 got in here and then baited Op4 into a CQB engagement, and then Goatland was able to pretty much pick off half the team while the other half were caught in a building and basically maneuvered on and killed by a machine gun Vic. Ooh, no one's pulling rear security for that far OFCRA force, and they're about to have a 2-Vic convoy pull up on them. And this is half their vehicle support, which they're using really well right now to do far suppression of Blue 4 forces. They're aiming for that coyote up there, but this Blue 4 group is going to pull up right on them, but the right side security is not looking right. This is the importance of rear security. Some shots coming in. Oh, man, so that ambush was a little wasted. They got this Vic caught in a reload, but he's firing down. He needs to aim that gun up. No, the gun turret got disabled in that initial barrage. AT now goes in. They got the top gunner, but the 7.62 with the 200 round is still able to open up. Explosions going on both sides. But the other Vic has come around on the flank and just annihilated the OFCRA's left side. OFCRA trying to counter by going on the right. We got Mask here trying to do some immediate bandaging. He honestly should just throw a tourniquet on and keep fighting. But OFCRA can immediately outflank Blue 4's push over here. But Blue 4, I thought, was crawling to the left to get some eyes. But OFCRA could close the gap right here on this flank, catch these two Blue 4 guys out of position. That's exactly what Zicky's gonna do. Knocking Locke down on the ground, but Locke gets headshotted. And now we got Shadow trying to crawl through the smoke right here. Blue 4 has a little bit of the numbers advantage right here. Shadow trying to close in on Zicky. Zicky being incredibly cautious. Wins the fight against Shadow right there. Again, this is what I'm talking about. The PvP is going to determine it. We're seeing some more grenades and smokes being popped across. Looking at the rest of the battle here, Blue Force pushed some forces up. They still have this wide flank in reserve. OFCRA does not have the numbers advantage right now, but they could win it back and steal one of these coyotes, and that could change the game. One of them is smoking, though, but the other one can still be used. Sixor is going to be able to catch Clement out of position. Who's going to win the fight? Switching to his RPG with an OG round. Misses the shot. It goes a little wide. Sixor getting knocked to the ground. Needs to reload his gun. He does it. These guys are just a little too low to see him. Grenade getting thrown uphill. Normally a really bad idea. Actually manages to land it right in front of Sixor. Doesn't take that many hits, though. And actually they throw a smoke grenade for him. Sixor managing to knock out one of the two guys. Clement now pushing. And Sixor getting the other kill. That is all of Blue 4's southern flank knocked out. OFCRA still having three guys up here. They could take this vehicle, and they could use it now. And they could basically pull right next to Blue 4 and do some significant damage. Hearing some more shooting over here. I think it's just OFCRA double tapping some bodies here. But that was great. Blue 4... What they should have done was made sure both vehicles were ready to engage at the same time, or potentially hit this thing with one vehicle coming in this direction, one coming on the other. What ended up happening was this Vic came in first, and OFCRA was able to turn around and engage it, and then the other Blue 4 Vic came in, and then OFCRA was able to reposition and take it out. But that's kind of a in-the-moment sort of thing, similar to the Audrey Hotto incident, I'm calling, not his first one, which we all know and love, but the second one where he was in the Kujari map, and his two armed Vics drove right behind and away from the OPFOR force. It's all about, you know, perceived moments. What you do in that moment determines everything. So a little bit of a misplay by Blue 4, but given the circumstances, it's understandable. OPFOR won the fight at the end of the day. Oh, fuck. We just saw one guy get picked off by a machine gun over there. That's probably a vehicle. No, that's either the 50 cal. That was a straight-up machine gunner on that side, but vehicles are smoking. We're seeing a little bit of wounded. Oh, yeah, definitely some wounded. But all of OPFOR's Vics are out of commission. They're gonna have to steal this one vehicle. It looks like they're trying some more AT coming up to this one position. And they're also taking some of the British guns too because they're scoped. I would do that too. But they need to grab that Vic, reposition it, try to get behind Blue 4 and do some significant damage, because with those two machine guns on that Vic, they could do some very nasty hit and run tactics. But instead, it looks like they're gonna stay up here instead as they try to regroup. So meanwhile, Blue 4 does have another group, and this Vic is going to have a lot of guys, at least 6 or 7. fact, maybe a little more than that. I saw 6, 8 people, maybe 9. But this is going to be the southern flank now for Blue 4, as Blue 4 is now trying to maneuver another team of guys via this Vic, but it's not even a team, it's more so just people enough to crew the guns in that Vic. So tables got turned a little bit there. Blue 4 still enjoying the numbers advantage, but in terms of units kind of spread out here, Blue 4 is down to 2 major pushes here, and then 1 small defensive detail on the Crossroad, and we're not even an hour in yet. This one's definitely a lot more fast-paced than the last week's operation, but it's been playing out quite well. So all these black arrows, this is Blue 4's actual markers, because I was a member of Blue 4 before I killed myself because there were no spectator slots. So again, it gives us a pretty unique advantage, but the trade-off is we don't get the tracer script. So I don't know which one's better, to be honest. They both have their ups and downs, but this group still getting suppressed by a machine gun across the way. These guys are pretty much pinned because they don't have any good form of escape routes, because if they try to go down the mountainside, they're going to get shot. If they try to go up the mountainside, they're going to get shot. So a very effective pin done right here, as Op4 again trying to return fire, but with the lack of marksman scopes, it's going to be really hard for them to get any good shots on these positions. They'd have to get really lucky or have some really good marksmen for their rifles. And now we're hearing this group starting to open up. A little down the hill here, you hear their 50 cal opening up. They are firing at the 3 Op4 guys back here. Specifically, this one guy right by this wrecked Jackal, but he pulled it up. He's trying to get on that scope 50. That is smart. All right, so now he's going to be able to scope in and potentially fire at those Blue 4 guys. Those shots landing dangerously close. He's quickly getting out because he's realizing how close those bullets are actually coming. And he has also taken an enemy gun. Again, I mean, the scopes on those L85s are very, very nice. Red target smoke being fired, landing literally the next ridgeline over. I guess just to try to spook Blue 4 here. But now Blue 4, looks like another wide attack is being done. They went back to, no they did not, they left these 2 guys over here. Where is Bluck, out of curiosity? Bluck is with the main force over here under UK Commander Group, so they're leaving these 2 guys on reserve just in case, but it looks like they're also able to try to get some pot shots in as they are firing up on that hillside as well, again trying to suppress from a different angle. That's a good call. So, Zix was trying to run out here, again, in the exposed area. I'm not sure if these 2 guys are shooting. I think they're shooting up at him, actually. They just caught him out in the open. His smokes are going to be a little too far down to assist him, but now the machine gun's going to fire at him. Zix might be screwed here. There's a headshot, and he's down. Literally doing a leg kick, too. Ay, ay, ay. And there's the disconnect. Oh, gotta love the RQ. Anyway, rage quit. ESP soon, Barbarian, soon. I'm still having a few things worked on. But anyway, Op4 up here, still down to 3 guys. Looks like the other Vic was actually drivable because that's the one they pulled around. So, I mean, they could steal both of these Vics, or at least one of them, fully crew it and try to do a wide flank. That's what I would attempt to do, at least. But they've got another Blue 4 Vic coming up close. That one, if it stops short and gets some good lineups here, it could easily catch some of these guys out of position with that ACOG 50 cal. And honestly knock them all down. That would collapse the southern flank of Op4 here, keeping them more consolidated and allow Blue 4 to kind of push in. But both sides have very limited numbers right now. It's literally 2 groups, 2 commands elements, even though that's not command's up there, but you get my point, and then 2 small groups. So the only difference is Blue 4 has slightly more men in each of these groups, but the group count itself is even. So Blue 4 parking their Vic up here. They're trying to find a decent firing angle on that hill, but they're not going to get one from down there. They got to get a bit closer. But their fear is that they'll run into, you know, a sentry from this group. Which I get, but this group, I mean, the whole reason they got walked up on was because they weren't pulling good rear security, but at the same time, I mean, at least their PvP skills were able to have them win the fight, which I would argue is the most important thing out of PvP, is how can you kill everyone else on the enemy team and survive? So red smoke down here. I think that's actually Blue 4 either trying to mark where Op4 is, or Op4 made an oopsie, because we saw another thing of red smoke pop back there. Now you're hearing that 50 firing up here. Also seeing the red tracers with that 7.62. They're firing up at these vehicles to try to disable them so OPFOR can't use them to move around. I think that's also a good call there because they don't know what OPFOR's strategy there is. So we'll see how things go. Task information, the red 4 died because Arma 3. So he got armored, but the commander's still alive. He just had to change slots. So that's why we saw an AI dead slot and then he took something else. So he's sticking in that slot. And look at this. He's got an extra AKM right here. So if he needs to reload instead, he can grab that and keep firing. That's a very smart strategy. And look at all the trenches they dug. So people can't just run in there. They can't just drive a Vic in there. Very smart. But now look, you're having OPFOR. Hold up. No, these are, they're being marked as Blue 4 Vics, but they're actually crewed by OPFOR. Interesting. But yeah, they're on both 50s trying to watch for any Blue 4 guys coming up. I thought Blue 4 was doing a push-up there. These guys are going to dismount their vehicle and push up on foot. I think that's a mistake. I would rather have both people in those two guns, and I would just use the mobility of the Vic to try to pull around it. Because that's exactly what Blue 4 did up here. They pulled in those Vics, and they lost the infantry fight. I mean, that guy's going to be able to catch the Vics out of position here. Gets up. No, I thought he got a headshot. Now the 50 cal is going to start firing. Yep, they're going to mount up in one Vic and they're going to drive. Something popping some of its smoke defenses. Good call right there. It's a full 360 smoke cover too. Jeez. Yeah, no, wow, that's amazing. That's going to let PHK right here get a little bit closer. He does have a GL. He could disable those Vics. He's fine. He's got a perfect firing line on that dude with the 50. I think just got a kill on the driver. In my opinion, he should have aimed for the gunner first because that's really risky. Because if he just got it with the first headshot, he would have been fine. But, I mean, he needs to now fire GLs into that Vic. There we go. Knocks the gunner out as well. That leaves MK over here. More grenadier rounds going in. We're seeing one of these guys firing a smoke grenade on himself. Not the smartest idea when you're being GL'd because he's just going to see that smoke appear and go, oh, they're still alive, and keep firing grenadier rounds down there. But PHK with the really good idea here. Maester in a bit of a bind. We got more Blue 4 guys coming up. It's just down to 2 because one of them got killed. That's unfortunate. Blue 4, meanwhile, they've pulled forces back. NASA now, I guess, going to lead a charge as Bluck, the Blue 4 command, stays up there. I think they're trying to wait and see how this southern attack goes before they move on. Another grenade going off right behind Maester. He has to be critically wounded by now, as PHK is doing a very wide attack here, trying to fire OPFOR from a different angle. It's a good call. Maester, unfortunately, his buddy bled out. That grenade probably killed him, and he's going to now focus on bandaging himself. So PHK is going to come up. Maester might hear his footsteps coming, though, and he does have a little bit of concealment here. That smoke's gone away, and he's looking the opposite direction. PHK is going to catch him in the back. Oh! Unfortunately, Maester planted a small charge on the Coyote and rigged it to a dead man switch. And when Maester died, the dead man switch clacked off, aka his body ragdolled into the Coyote, causing the Coyote to jump out at PHK and knock him down. To give you a serious answer, yeah, no, his body went down. When you go into your ragdoll death animation, your body temporarily has physics till it hits the ground, and those physics can interact with vehicles and cause this. So, yeah, if I was PHK, I'd be screaming at my keyboard right now, and my monitor, everything would be getting yelled at. But hopefully Sky Online can go up and bandage PHK up. But wow, oh wow, what a play right there. I don't think I've ever seen that happen in PvP, so, whew, I'm glad we caught that one, because that's a good highlight there. So anyway, we have Cheeseburger and McHelston probably butchered his name. They are the remaining southern two-man group. Looks like the closer one right here, because Blue 4 pulled back, we're able to come down and set up in the cave complex. Now it's gonna be Battle of the Cave. Can Blue 4 rat out the Taliban from inside? How will this two-man machine gun team counter? What's going on? Are they going to try to head back up here to see what's going on? Or are they going to try to set up a position? PHK, what he needs to do is stabilize PHK with tourniquets, get his head and chest bandage, load him in a Vic, and drive him back to command. Instead, it looks like he's going to carry him back to the vehicle. Again, good call there. I would make sure he's stabilized first, because that's going to be a long-ass drive. But also, you know, possibly expecting OFCRA to come up and counter here. But he has, you know, two options that he can drive to. So things should be A-okay. But now Blue 4 pushing up these ridge lines to make sure OFCRA has been fully cleared out. And we'll have to see how things go. So yeah, OFCRA, they've got, McAlston has eyes on that large Blue 4 group. His buddy does have a machine gun. He doesn't have a GL, though. But they could wait for that group to come down this little valley here, set up the machine gun, and open up on them when they're out of position. But if Blue 4 was smart, they would mount everyone up in a Vic and go down the Vic instead, because it would be a lot quicker. So OFCRA still has some opportunities to get some licks in, but honestly, the PvP is going to come down to the cave site itself. Oh, did PHK just get armored again? I think there's a little bit of a glitch right there as his slots were being changed. I think Sky Online trying to load him up in a Vic. There it is, yep. And now Sky's going to get in the driver's seat and try to get away with him. Looks like Cheeseburger and McAlston are trying to push south now to go check on that southern group, possibly because they lost comms. But Blue 4, I mean, they're going to attempt a push here with 3 guys into the cave system. And now we're going to see the final fight begin for this operation. Led by Nubas, we got Fact of the House and Mr. Cool. I do recognize these names in Friday Night Fights, too. Fact of the House, I definitely saw him last Friday. Same with Nubas. Mr. Cool also rings a bell. But yeah, they're going to have a very tough time here. But if they can get some good grenade throws, they should be able to really mess up some of these OPFOR guys defending. So Fact climbing up. He does have a machine gun. Mr. Cool has a GL, and Nubas has a captured RPG-26. So using explosives to route that position would be really, really smart. Unfortunately, Blue 4 flipped their Vic as they were driving down right in front of the machine gun team, and the machine gun team was able to engage it. Oh, that's unfortunate for PHK. He's not going to be able to get medicked up after that bullshit he dealt with. So, lucky break for OPFOR there, catching some more Blue 4 guys out of position. You got NASA coming around, utilizing these high rocks, trying to find another way into this cave complex. Very smart about it, but now he's on the wide right flank. If he were to push back a little bit, he might be able to find a good firing arc as OPFOR tries to reconsolidate. He can also get some grenades in there. Grenadier rounds going in there. Alfred going unconscious. More Grenadier rounds going in here. Explosives raining in. Oh, this is the issue with this type of area, because once you can start getting explosives in here, it becomes a death trap. So again, Flip for Flap is the HVT here. He needs to survive. But I'm pretty sure OPFOR, there's way too much time remaining for OPFOR to really do anything. What's going on over here? The vehicles come down because those two guys, they were busy engaging this vehicle. They're now out of position to stop this Blue 4 offensive on this side. Now Blue 4 has the numbers advantage to push in. OPFOR down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys defending because Alfred is not waking back up. And Blue 4 is pushing with at least a dozen guys on both sides. Royd and Goatlin joining in, 2 really good PvPers. Remy here is trying to catch a firing arc here. He notices Goatlin coming up. Honestly, Remy needs to use that AT on the doorway to get some free shots in. Smoke grenade going in. They're going to try to get a lot of concealment smoke going in to try to obscure the OPFOR's lines. Remy here getting hit by some GL shrapnel, catching Goatlet out of position. Goatlet, however, getting a lucky headshot from that machine gun, and they trade, which is still not good for OPFOR because they don't have the numbers advantage. So if Blue4 can come in and make those even trades, OPFOR is not going to stand a good chance, but it looks like Blue4 is actually pulled away from this entrance, trying to see if that other entrance is any good. So NASA trying to go up and friendly wiggle. And more grenade rounds are being popped in. How's that two-man team doing? They're still up there. And they're being hunted by another Vic, but that is not the important fight right here. Unfortunately, Fleshy and Rick Hunt are both down from the spamming of Grenadier rounds on the high ground here to pop over that trench line. We are down to 2 defenders. No, we got 4 defenders. Okay, more AT coming in here. 4 defenders left. HVT is still alive. Again, Blue4 has to get the body and drag it out of the position for it to count. But if all these guys go down, Blue4 is also going to get the advantage of, whatchamacallit, the supremacy points. So Royd coming up, putting some shots in, not knocking anyone out. He himself getting hurt. I think he injured a few guys with those Grenadier rounds as well. No, he did kill an OPFOR guy. OPFOR now down to 3 people in the cave, 2 people outside. And I mean, just the sheer amount of Blue4 guys. This was a pretty cool AO, admittedly. But Blue4 just had it here. So he's going to get the shot on tackle. McLaurin. Oh, Royd getting both of those kills. Flip-flop now coming out. And they trade. That's GG. That right there is GG. HVI is dead. His body's going to be dragged out. Blue4 has a supremacy advantage. I don't see OPFOR coming out of that. Blue4 last had control of the zone. That's it. And it looks like we're getting some double taps here, or he's just shooting at shadows. Yeah, I think Barros is shooting at shadows. I would be jumpy too, going into a smoky OPFOR cave there. Carl Connor now pushing up, trying to see if Royd is still alive. But I mean, that man, 2 confirmed kills, technically a 3rd with tackle. He's just unconscious. There goes tackle. Does he get the kill point? No, he does not. More double taps coming in. And now they just have to identify the warlord's body because he had to switch slots. I am noticing a little... Oh, there it is. There's the call. So they killed the warlord. They got the supremacy. They didn't maintain control of the Crossroads, but they didn't need to at that point. That was a stomp-out victory. 2 survivors left on that side, but 17 Blue4 survivors on that side as well. So, hot damn. That was a good fight, in my opinion. Again, the little bit of a tweak, I would say, would be the ACOG on the 50s. But overall, I think OPFOR's major mistake was their placement of units and not fortifying that crossroad immediately to nullify the advantage, because they knew that Blue4 would have those coyotes going in. So overall, I would say well done to Blue4. OPFOR hopefully will learn from their mistakes and make do better in the future. But no, that was good. So guys, next stream is in a little bit of an hour from now. It will be a TSB cop building scenario, phase 2 of that. These guys are now going to do a fun op, but I'm not going to cover that because I'm going to just take a small break, rest my voice, and get ready for the next operation. So thank you guys so much for watching. Go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of your day or night. Cheers. Have a good one. See you next time.